Nonito Donaire manages to defeat Ryan Burnett early in the 5th round, taking his WBA bantamweight title. I don't understand these belts. I knew he's got the other WBA one. Defeating him via an injury in a fight I thought he was probably losing, in a fight I think he was as long as 12-1 against odds with some bookies. It was a crap way to end the fight. He was doing well, but I probably would have had him behind against a younger man who was using his good legs, better timing, better jab to control things. And even when he was getting pinned in the corner and you heard the natural power differential of Nonito as he let loose with that vicious, renowned left hook, Burnett was seeing it coming, he was moving with it, and you really felt he was making it more so into his kind of a fight. Even though it was a very interesting fight, and it unfortunately ended because Burnett, not a big puncher, he probably wouldn't have punished Donaire down the stretch like Frampton did, so it would have made it very compelling over the full 12 rounds. But he goes down early at the beginning of the 5th, seemingly pulling a muscle. Was it at the side here, at the hip, or the back? I don't think it was a bone. He'd complained of something previously, I think in the previous round. Adam Booth, who usually gives great corner advice, wasn't saying anything suddenly and was lowering him down on the stool. I thought maybe, my first instinct was a dislocated shoulder perhaps, because that's what you normally see. But for a guy of 26, bang in his prime, undefeated, the #1 seed, for him to go down, I didn't necessarily agree with him being the #1 seed, but with him going down like that off some sort of muscle pull, to the point it hurt enough that they basically had to call it off. Really unlucky. Because even though it was an interesting fight, I would have had to say odds on. Burnett was probably, with his younger legs, with his good jab, probably would have marked up Donaire, started to make it his fight. And as the fight went on, I think you would have seen Donaire, jaded reflexes, become a bit more stuck in the mud. Now, of course, we only really saw Donaire have success when he trapped him in the corner, started tentatively flicking the jab and then letting loose. One of the things you notice with fighters who lose a step, particularly jaded like Donaire now, who hasn't fought a bantamweight for 7 years, is they find it hard to make things happen at ring center. They don't have the same feints, the same jabs, the same timing to really get their boxing together or get a fight by the scruff in ring center. He had to push him to the center, to the ropes, use that physical strength and power to then figure his way in there and then let loose with the heavy shots. You saw, it's apparent that when you lose that timing and that extra edge, which he's probably not had for a long time, Donaire, that you can see he was finding it hard to compete pure boxing wise with Burnett in ring center, and that's probably why he would have lost. But it's a shame it had to end like that. Gracious as ever, Donaire, he's a class act. It seemed that Adam Booth, the trainer of Burnett, really wanted to talk to Donaire, a big fan obviously. It looked, when I was lip reading Donaire, like he said something like, do you mean that? Like he was obviously giving him big praise at the end of the fight, telling me, how good he thought he is. I think he said, actually, Adam Booth, that it was the most technically accomplished fighter that he's ever had to prepare for, when referring to Donaire. So that just shows you how high regard, he has him. But so Donaire becomes a champion out of nowhere in a very unfortunate manner. Burnett is taken out on a stretcher. If anyone knows the actual injury, feel free to post it. It looks like some sort of muscle tear. I don't know if he slipped a disc. Isn't that something you do when you usually get very old? So I don't know. Post it on the comment section if you know what's actually happened to him. But he unfortunately gets taken away on a stretcher. Very unusual, real freak incident. I thought it was a bit of a shame they started counting over him when he went down. It clearly wasn't a knockdown. But there you go. But Donaire now scheduled to face Zolani Tete in the semi-final. A really big bantamweight, I think. I think the final is between Inouye and Tete, so Nonito is really up against it there, against the towering Tete, who boxes very well and has got great power, and is very probably not going to be getting injured against the Filipino Flash. So, interesting to see how that one will unfold. Maybe Donaire, now that he's come down to bantamweight, he can maybe acclimatise a little bit more in the lead up to this second fight at this weight he hasn't been at for so long, and give Tete something to think about. But the last word has to go to Burnett. Very unfortunate. Let me know if you know the official injury. A real pain in the ass there. What can you do?